Hello boys and girls, we're back for another flipped video. Today we're going to learn something really exciting. We are going to learn about division. So we've been talking a lot about multiplication, and today we're going to learn division. So our I can statement for this video is I can use different strategies to solve division problems. Okay, so let's talk about our math vocabulary. I'm going to show you a division problem. So I'm going to say that I have 12 divided by 3, and that equals 4. So let's talk about the labels for the different parts of the problem. This right here, division always starts with our biggest number, and that is called the dividend. The dividend. And then this number, switch colors. This number is called the divisor. And then our answer is called, I'm going to have to do it down here. Our answer is called the quotient. Can you say that? The quotient. So in multiplication, we have factors and we have the product. And in division, we have the dividend, we have the divisor, and we have the quotient. Okay, I want to show you a couple different ways that you can see that you can see division. So using that same problem, I showed it to you in 12 divided by 3 equals 4. You could see it like that. You could see it represented this way. This right here it looks like a fraction, but this is called the division bar. So this reads 12 divided by 3 equals 4. You might see it with the division box, and that looks like this. And our dividend goes on the inside, and our divisor goes over here, and our quotient goes on top. So those are all different ways to represent division. So a lot of times you'll see it written this way, but I want you to be familiar in case you see it any of these other ways that those are also just divide. Okay, we've talked a lot about how closely related multiplication and division are, just like addition and subtraction. So it would make sense that we could make fact families with 3 numbers just like we can in addition and subtraction. So I'm going to show you if I have I'm going to start with a multiplication problem. Let's just say I have 6 times 5. So what is 6 times 5? If you said 30, you're correct. So I should be able to make 2 multiplication problems and 2 division problems, just like in addition and subtraction, I'd be able to make 2 addition and 2 subtraction. So using the commutative property, I'm going to switch my factors and get 5 times 6 equals 30. And then for the division, I'm always going to start with the largest number. So I'm going to do 30 divided by 5 equals the other number, which is 6. And 30 divided by 6 equals 5. Okay, so with that information, see if you can do, you can write the 4 facts that would go with the fact family 3 times 5 equals 15. So pause the video and go ahead and write the other members of this fact family. So if you have 3 times 5 equals 15, you should have 5 times 3 equals 15. And then for division, you're going to start with your biggest number, which is 15. 15 divided by 5 equals 3. And 15 divided by 3 equals 5. And you're going to find later that you're going to want to use these related facts to help you solve division problems. Because if I gave you a different division problem, let's say I do 18 divided by 3 equals what? Well, you can use related facts and you could switch them around. So you could say 3 times what equals 18. And then you could count by 3s like we know how to do. So count with me. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. and you would know that the answer is 6. So if 3 times 6 equals 18, 18 divided by 3 equals 6. So you're going to use related facts and fact families a lot in division. And that's going to come in really handy. So you're going to want to have a good foundation of knowing which facts are related. Okay, so let's look at our first strategy. It's going to be repeated subtraction. Remember, we talked a lot about how addition and multiplication were related, and we had a strategy that was repeated addition. Well, division and subtraction are very closely related. So our first strategy is going to be repeated subtraction. So write this problem down with me. We are going to do 20 divided by 4, and we're looking for the quotient. So in order to solve this, we are going to keep subtracting 4 until we get our answer. So we're going to do 20 minus 4, so write that down. So 20 minus 4 is 16, and then we're going to subtract 4 again. 16 minus 4 is 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. And then you're going to have 4 minus 4, which is 0. So you keep subtracting until you get down to 0. And then you're going to go back and you're going to count the number of times you subtracted 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So our quotient, our answer is 5. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. And you can check your division by using a related fact. So a related fact would be a multiplication problem. So I can turn this part into a multiplication problem, and I can say 4 times 5, and it should equal 20. 4 times 5 is 20. Good. Okay, it's your turn to try repeated subtraction. So you try 12 divided by 3 equals what? So remember, you're going to start with 12 and you're going to subtract 3 until you get to 0, and then you're going to go back and count the number of times you subtracted 3, and that is your quotient. So pause the video and go ahead and check. Okay, here's my work, and you can see that I've subtracted, and then I went back and I counted my 3s. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So my quotient, 12 divided by 3 equals 4. And I can check that by turning this into a multiplication problem. So I can have 3 times 4 equals, and it should equal 12. And I can test it because I'm going to count by 3s. And I can say 3, 6, 9, 12. And I counted 4 times, so my answer is correct. Okay, so that's one strategy. So we've learned related facts, and we've learned repeated subtraction. Okay, let's learn another one. Okay, our next strategy is also a multiplication strategy, equal groups. So I'm going to give you this problem, 15 divided by 3. And we're going to work it out using equal groups, and we're looking for the quotient. So when I make equal groups, I know my total. So this is the total. This is the total number of items I have. That's important to know. This is the number of groups that I have. So when I go to work my problem, I know that I have 15 items and I have them in 3 groups. So I'm going to draw 3 circles because that's the number of groups I have. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to put tallies in each group one at a time until I get to 15. But I'm going to organize my tallies. Once I get to 5, I'm going to make sure I have a group of 5, and that's so that they're easy to count later. So I'm going to do 15 items into 3 groups. So draw these circles and count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now I can easily see that 15 items divided into 3 groups is 5. So my quotient is 5. Okay, it's your turn to try equal groups. So I've got 2 problems up here. Remember that your dividend tells you the total number of items. So don't put more tallies than your dividend because that's all that you have. And then your divisor tells you how many groups you have. So that's how many circles you draw. And then you can't put more items in in each group than the other. Remember to organize your tallies into groups of 5. That'll make it much easier to count when you're done. Okay, try those 2 problems, pause the video, and then come back to check. All right, here are the answers. So I drew 4 circles because that's what my divisor was. And then I just counted until I got to 24. And then I went back and count. Notice I organized them so that it'd be easy to go back and see that I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Make sure that I have it. And then my answer was 6. I wrote down here if I added all those together to make sure that I got to 24. So if I added by 6s, it would be 6, 12, 18, 24. So I know that my answer is correct. Down here I have 18 divided by 6, so I have 6 circles. I put tallies in them. When I got done, there were 3 tallies in each group, so my quotient is 3. Good job. One more strategy to go. Okay, our next strategy is skip counting. This is actually where we're going to use a related fact. So we're gonna skip count by 4s until we get to 36. So we all know how to count by 4, so count with me. I'm going to write them down. You would be holding up your finger. So we would say 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. And then I would go back and I would count, or you would have the number of fingers up. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when you counted by 4s and you got to 36, you had 9 fingers up. So that would be our answer. And I can check because I know that 4 times 9 equals 36. Okay, I'm going to give you one to practice on. Okay, this one is a little bit tougher. It's 42 divided by 6. If you've been doing your skip counting homework, though, you can count by 6s. So count by 6s until you get to 42. The number of fingers you have up is the quotient. All right, if we're counting by 6s, we would have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and 42. And then I go back and count the number I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my quotient is 7. I know that because 7 times 6 equals 42. Good job. Okay, we're almost to the end of the video. I'm going to give you just a few problems, and I want you to decide which strategy you want to use. You could use repeated subtraction, you could use equal groups, you could turn it into a multiplication problem, you could use skip counting. Those are all the choices. So I'm going to give you a few problems to solve, and then you decide which strategy you want to use to figure out the answer. Okay, here are the 4 problems. I did use some bigger ones because you have strategies to figure it out. So even if you can't count by 7s or 8s, you have some type of strategy that you can use to figure it out. So pause the video and then come back to check. Okay, so here are the answers. I used skip counting and a related fact. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. 49 divided by 7, I used groups of and got 7. 32 divided by 8, I used groups of again, I got 4. And for 48 divided by 6, I skip counted and used a related fact and got 8. So I hope you got all of those right. We'll be working more in class on this. So it's time for the joke of the video. Got a good one this week. It is, what do you call a cow that won't give milk? A milk dud. Of course. Okay, I look forward to doing some more division with you. See you soon. Bye.